Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to the UKSG mini Spectrum event. We've got 3 days of various Spectrum titles being played. 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Plenty to look forward to, but I'm not going to keep you guys from the runs. We are going to get straight in there. We're starting with Tiny Tim and Crystal Kingdom Dizzy. So it'll just be 2 seconds whilst we finish getting that ready for you, and look forward to it.
And that should be us live now.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello there, folks. Welcome to the UKSG ZX Spectrum Marathon. My name is Tiny Tim78, and I have the pleasure of opening up the event here with Crystal Kingdom Dizzy, the 2017 remake. And I do have the one and only Digital Duck with me.
Hello.
Who is going to explain a little bit about this game and also about the difference between the remake and the original game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start playing. And if you'd like to just explain, while I'm doing the first section, really, a little bit about the game and the differences, and then we'll go from there. This one should take about half an hour or so, roughly. Maybe a little bit shorter than that, we'll see. So, let's get started. Time to get dizzy. I hope you like it, by the way. I hope you're ready to get scrambled, because there's an awful lot of dizzy coming over the next few days. So, right, here we go. Timer ready to start? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, if you'd like to give us a bit of an intro to this one, please, Duck, while I'm doing the...
Yep, so Crystal Kingdom Dizzy is the 7th Dizzy game in the series. We've decided to kick off with the 7th one, because why not? This is actually, as Tim said, the 2017 remake. So the original game was released in 91, I think, or 92, sometime around then. And it wasn't very good by the standards of the rest of the series, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And such, and it just did not fit well with the rest of the series. So some fans, some Russian fan developers made a version based heavily on the Amiga version of the game, which was a bit more faithful to standard Dizzy formula, and they've basically backported it back to the Spectrum. So the main differences are the physics are a bit more familiar with Dizzy runners, and a few of the dialogue boxes have been brought over as well. So we've got some nice dialogue, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to read it very much.
Yeah, the one thing I would point out with this game is that it is a very, very nice use of the Spectrum, technically. We will be seeing tonight quite a few examples of it, because obviously the Spectrum was originally out in the 1980s, 1982 to be precise, and it does suffer from colour clash. If maybe because it's the first run of the event, if you wouldn't mind explaining that.
Yeah, we're going to see it in every single run in the event, pretty much. Well, there's a few that are monochrome, but for the most part, we're going to see a lot of colour clash. So the way the Spectrum works is that you can only have 2 colours in every 8x8 cell at a time. And usually there's various ways of making this look better. And so generally you design the graphics around these cell blocks so that you don't have as much colour clash as you could potentially. But obviously when you've got a character walking in front and behind of things, they're going to overlap. You're going to need to use 2 colours at some point. There's not much you can do to get around it. You kind of just accept that it's there, and you get used to it.
Yeah, it is something that will be very prevalent. But if you look closely, this game, as I said, this game was actually created in 2017. and it is a very, very good use of the Spectrum from a hardware perspective. It's very, very impressive. And the same developers of this game actually went on to create another game, which was released in 2020, which is Wonderful Dizzy, which is officially now the 8th game in the series, and that we'll be running that on. I'll be running that on Sunday, so you'll be seeing that. And that was actually in the same engine as this game.
Yeah, so because it's so I've noticed Two Spaces in chat has mentioned that the physics aren't exactly the same as the classic games, and that's true. It is a completely different engine, but it's designed to resemble the classics a lot more than the actual Crystal Kingdom Dizzy version did.
Yeah, Crystal Kingdom, just for completeness sake here, Crystal Kingdom Dizzy, the original version, and Spellbound Dizzy, which is Dizzy 5, are the only two games in the series that won't be appearing on the marathon, I'm afraid. Mainly because we don't have anybody that runs them at the moment. And as we've also mentioned, in my opinion, Crystal Kingdom Dizzy, the original version, ain't that great. So I prefer to run this version.
we have Faddy who runs both games, but as far as I know, they don't stream. So unfortunately, we couldn't get them into the marathon. But it would have been nice to have the full series if we could.
Yeah. Okay, we're coming up to the end of the first part here. This game is split into 4 chapters. So this is the first chapter, which is the Yokefolk Village, and we're just finishing up here. We're going to give Grand Dizzy his goggles back, and then we're going to give him his newspaper back, and then he's going to tell us what's going on regarding the plot, and it will send us immediately off to the next section, which is a pirate ship. Now, this game, a very interesting thing about this game, when I first ran this game, I think I have run this game before. I ran it at UKSG last year. And when I ran it then, we recently discovered a very big glitch in the game. And we'll be showing that off later on, which has literally cut minutes out of the run. Quite a big chunk, actually, out of the run. And I've just gone out the wrong way for some bizarre reason. I don't quite know why I needed to do that, but okay. But we'll come back to that anyway. But if you'd like to explain maybe the what I have to do in this section, please, Duck, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. So for this section, we're basically we're throwing a Sorry, I've forgotten. I'm struggling with the stream at the moment. So this part of the game, we're on a ship and we have to sort out the steering wheel and map and everything so that the pirate here can actually go and sail to where he wants to go. And so with that, we're basically preparing the entire ship for sail, which involves cutting down some sails. It involves gluing the steering wheel back on.
Yeah, this is not a particularly well kept pirate ship. It's got a few problems.
No, it's.
Now, one of the things that makes this game quite challenging to run is the enemies in this game. Now, this is pretty much a standard game in terms of the Dizzy series. Dizzy 1 and 2 are different in the way that they work. We'll get to those later on in the marathon. But basically, most Dizzy games, most certainly after Dizzy 3, have an energy bar, which you've got showing at the bottom of the screen there. And you've also got lives. This is actually a particularly generous game with lives, which is just as well, because you do kind of need them most of the time. But if I touch an enemy, then I'll take a bit of damage, and if I run out of energy, then obviously I lose a life. And this particular game, you can also take falling damage, which again is something that's pretty much specific to the later games in the series. Almost all the earlier games don't have that issue.
Yeah, and it's strange because you'd think playing as an egg, you'd expect full damage to be a prominent thing, but actually it's only Spellbound and Crystal Kingdom and Wonderland. Not Wonderland, Wonderful Dizzy that have it.
Yeah, just the later series, the later entries in the series.
Yeah,
have it. Not 6, interestingly enough, because 6 is actually on a different engine from 5. 6 is on the same engine as 3 and 4. And as I think
it was actually made first as well, wasn't it?
Might well have been. Not entirely
I think it was made first, and then but it wasn't released until afterwards. Because it was made to be an exclusive to the Dizzy collection.
Yep. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to be sellotaping this bit of wood in place, which is not the way you really want to fix your ship. And then we're going to be grabbing that needle and thread, This section here is relatively straightforward, but this part of the adventure is, I wouldn't say it's particularly difficult. It's the enemies that can be a problem, especially the birds. The bird movement is a bit of a problem. I'm not a big fan of the bird movement in this section. It can be quite challenging. Right, okay, and you'll see that in a second when we go up on to the ship here.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on, Duck.
I was gonna say the main issue of the birds is that if they touch you, they will actually knock you off while you're climbing, and that means that you fall down all the way to the bottom and have to start climbing again.
Yep, it can be a right pain. So what we've got to do here, as I say, is I'm going to watch out for these birds because they will literally knock you, as Duck says, right off the mast, and you fall all the way down, which is a significant time loss and obviously some damage as well. But no, as we were saying, this game is based on the Amiga version of Crystal Kingdom Dizzy, and it's got the same music, it's got the same graphics, it pretty much plays exactly the same as the Amiga version. The original Spectrum version of this game, I've gone too far there, is not it's not like this. I mean, it's similar, it's the same game, but it's a cut down basically. It's not as detailed, it doesn't have as many. It's still got the same 4 sections and the same basic plot, but and as we mentioned, the game engine is significantly different, and I prefer this one. I mean, again, as was mentioned, this game engine isn't similar to the what I call the main games in the series 3, 4, and 6, which is the ones I've played the most. They're the ones I'm most familiar with. This game engine is slightly different, but what I'm doing here, I'm giving these sails a quick snip, and that's going to do. We'll have a big woomph here. There's a woomph. There you go. That's like a good woomph. And we're going to come down here. Now, notice I take some fall damage there. A lot of this run is about minimising your fall damage, and also not only minimising your fall damage, but obviously doing it as quickly as possible. And this is a bit of dolphin riding here. I was just about to say we've got some time for donations, but obviously that's not applicable today. Right, that there, by the way, is a mushroom. Now, when I first played this game, I didn't actually realise you could pick these up and use them as health. And it was only watching Faddy run this game, who's got the world record in this, that I noticed that you can actually use those, and they do come in handy. Like I say, the damage in this game is quite is something you have to factor into the run. Now, if you'd like to talk about that item up there on the right there, Duck, I don't know if you can see it.
I'm a bit behind on stream, so I can't.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's an item. There is a bit of glue up there, and I'm making a right mess of this jump. Try it again.
Hi guys, sorry, I'm incredibly sorry. We've been having some technical issues, and I think we're going to need to go to the intermission just now. I'm incredibly sorry about this.
Yeah, no worries. I'll
But we'll
pause.
need to go and get that resolved. My apologies again.
Yep.
All right, so, sorry about that. That's us. Oh, turn the mic off.
Dozy, and we're going to come down here. Now, can I ask you to explain what those little stars are that we've been seeing, Duck?
Yeah, so most Dizzy games have collectibles that you're required to collect all of them in order to finish the game. This actually doesn't have that. I think this is the only game apart from the original that doesn't. But the stars do give you points.
Yeah.
And if you want to go for a points run, you can collect all of the stars. Obviously, this isn't a points run. This is a speed run. So we're just interested in speed. We ignoring pretty much all the stars that we can.
Yeah. If they're in the way, we get them, but most of the time I'm not going to be bothering about them too much. Now, what I'm going to do here, the reason I left those items up the top there earlier on is because I've got quite a few things to do in this area. So I'm now climbing the main mast here. We're going to go up into the crow's nest. We're going to pick up that star just on the way. We're going to pop the flag on the flagpole. We're going to grab that bit of blue tack. We're going to leg it back down here. And we're now going to pick up the needle and thread. I'm going to drop the scissors because I don't need them anymore. Pick up this sheet, as you do, and we're going to make a nice new hole in the, fix the hole in the sail. We're then going to fall all the way back down here. And quickly jump up here to get the ship's wheel. And we are going to... So we're nearly finished this section. As I say, this is section 2. There's 4 parts to this game. So this is section 2. So we're nearly finished. Notice I'm getting a wee bit low on life again here. But we can hopefully survive. We're nearly finished. We've only got a couple of little bits still to go. So I love this bit here. You're going to use the blob of blue tack to put the steering wheel back on, as you do. Speak to the captain here.
Not sure how that's supposed to work because I'm pretty sure if you stick on the steering wheel with blue tack, it doesn't turn anymore. But
yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
And I love the fact we've got a Blue Peter badge here. Here's one I made earlier. Hope some people might not get that reference. Makes me feel old. And one of these games makes me feel old. Right, anyway. But this game, I am playing 2 of the more modern games in the marathon. This and Wonderful Dizzy. Ruffled Bricks is also playing a modern game. They're playing Yazzie as well, which is quite a modern game. So we have... in fact, I think I'm playing both the oldest and the newest game in the marathon, I think. Maybe not. No, I'm not playing Manic Miner.
Ruffled Bricks is doing Manic Miner, yeah.
Yep. Right, okay. So, I picked up a telescope and a map. We're nearly finished here now. This is part 2, so we're legging it back. Flipper, I choose you. Let's just go on this little dolphin here. And what we've got to do now is give the map to the captain, leg it up to the crow's nest, and then we will be on our way. But it turns out that, well, the captain isn't quite as friendly as we thought he was, and he makes you walk the plank. And we end up on the desert island for the next section. So, and this is where the glitch is going to come in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start heading towards the area with the glitch, and then once I get there, I'll let Duck explain the glitch and how it works. Now there is the possibility the glitch goes a bit pear-shaped, and it can cause issues. It can soft lock or various other things. I do have a few backups in case that happens, but the past couple of times I've done it in practice, it was okay. So, fingers crossed it behaves itself. But it is marathon, so you never know. So, one thing I haven't pointed out with the so far in this game, and it's something I really appreciate about it, it has an amazing soundtrack. This soundtrack is actually copied directly from the Amiga version, but it is much, much better than the original Spectrum soundtrack. And you have a different tune for each part of the game as well. And this is my favourite. This is part 3, and this music is my favourite part here. So, as I say, we're on a desert island. Going to pick up this box here that's hiding behind there. It's quite difficult the first time you play because you don't know it's there. And then you're up here. We're going to grab a bit of scuba gear. Now, this is a completely new section for this run. Those who've maybe seen me do this run before, this is completely different now. Because previously, you would have to get the flippers to get in here. And now you can get in here without the flippers as long as you jump in. But you can't actually come back up to the surface again, which technically would soft lock you. But because of the glitch, it doesn't. We have another way out here now. So, what I'll be doing is I will be making my way over to where we'll be performing the glitch, and I'll be getting Duck to explain exactly what that glitch is and how it works. And hopefully it will work without any major bother. We will soon see. We will see. We have to perform the glitch twice to make this work. And as I say, this makes a huge difference in terms of time. I mean, I haven't really timed it, but it's a pretty big save. It's at least 5 minutes, possibly even more than that. So, right, I'm getting there now then, so I don't know if you want to start explaining the glitch then, Duck.
Yeah, so it's actually quite simple, considering how complicated it is. So basically, if you sit down while on a bouncy surface, and well, when you're going to bounce up from the surface, you will keep bouncing while you're sitting, and build up a whole load of speed. And then when you finally stop sitting, you will rocket off at such a high speed that the game basically gets confused as to where to put you, and eventually will eject you somewhere once it's finished bouncing you about all over the place.
Okay, that should do it. Oh, there we go. We're going. Not ideal, but we got there. So, what's happened there then? It's thrown us right out of the underground cavern. Obviously, that is not the way we're supposed to do that. And we're supposed to come back up through the swimming, back up again. But that is the way we can escape the underground section. So, what we can do now is we can basically use that as a shortcut. Normally, you would have to have come all the way back using the flippers and the oxygen tank. And the major problem here is that you only have one. You've only got 3 inventory slots, and 2 of them you would be using for the swimming. So to be perfectly honest, it's an absolute pain because you have to make 2 trips because you just don't have enough inventory. And this is what makes it so much quicker because you're cutting out. In fact, you're only making the 1 trip. Well, you make 2 actually, because I'll go down again. In fact, no, you won't, because you'll go down the lift shaft the next time. So you only make 1 swimming trip the entire route.
Yeah. And it basically, I think you normally have to go up and back 3 or 4 times, don't you? So because you can only carry 1 item at a time, you do save a lot of travelling time by doing this.
Okay, so what we're doing now then is we're dropping down the lift shaft. You can only do this because I'm carrying the torch. If I'd left the torch in here, I would have soft locked because I would have no way to get back down. Because I've left both the oxygen tank and the torch down in the underground. So it is very easy to soft lock. Right, what I'm going to do here though is I'm going to pick up these treasures. These are the treasures that we're needing. So, I forgot to drop the torch. I can drop the torch. I need to keep the torch for just now. Drop that. It's the oil can I should have dropped. I forgot to drop the oil can. Never mind. It's fine. So, we're nearly there
You can
then.
drop it in here.
Sorry?
So you can drop it in here. You can drop it anywhere.
Drop it in here now. Yeah, I don't need it again now. I've sorted it. Oh, there we go. Right. Okay. So we drop the crown, drop the sword. We're gonna get this old geezer and get him on here. As I say, there's a whole load of dialogue. Come on you go. Right. There's a whole load of dialogue here, and we're just gonna let him on there. We're gonna press the button and send him up. There he goes. Bye bye. And we're gonna. Now the problem is he only goes halfway up. So you have to go down and give him a boost in the next bit. I'm going to go and get some life here. There's a mushroom over there you can see. I'm going to go for that and get some life out of that. Now there's a very important item I need here as well that I'll be picking up on my way up here, which is a pin. And then I've got to make my way back round. Normally, as I say, this... Oh dear, I'm always doing that. That's a jump there that doesn't quite work if you do it wrong. Right, there we go. So, this section here, as I say, on the previous route was just a nightmare. I mean, you had to do it so many times. It was just, yeah. It really made this game, running this game, a bit of a chore, to be honest. Because this section was the biggest section of the game by a long way. And it was just such a chore. Whereas now, it's probably my favourite, it is my favourite part of the game because of the glitch. As long as the glitch works okay, then it's a very fun section, and it's still not the quickest section in the game, but it's pretty good. Right, because what I'll do now is send him back up, and I can now go to join him. If I pick up the oxygen tank, because I am going to need it, I'll pick up that mushroom just in case. I don't need it now really, but I'm going to pick it up. And what I have to do now though is do the glitch again, and hope it works. Okay, that's not quite what we needed. Neither's that. 3rd time's the charm. No. Come on. that should be it. There we, oh, wow, okay. That wasn't the normal reaction, but that's fine. We got to where we wanted to go. So I'm not going to complain. So what we'll do now is get this guy to tell us that all he's going to give us is a plaster. We're going to pick up the plaster and we're going to leg it all the way over here. So this is the final section of this this part of the game. We also have the final part coming up, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm interested to see what people think of the final part. Final part's probably my favourite just because of the reference to it at the beginning, so we will see. But no, this is an interesting game. As I said, this is the 2017 remake. I do like this game. I love the music. I think it's got a fantastic use of the Spectrum's technical capabilities, if that's not a contradiction in terms. It's a very, very good example of a modern Spectrum game, of what you can do with it these days. So what I've done there is I've put the plaster on the dinghy, I've pumped it up using the oxygen tank, and I've dropped the pin next to it. And now I've got to go back for my treasure. So I'm going to head back. Any other comments on this game, Duck? What your thoughts on this one are?
Yeah, so like we have a bit of disagreement over how good it actually looks. But for the most part, that's only as far as the first level goes. I'm not a fan of the way it uses colours in the first level, but in this level in particular, like it does a really good job, especially with the trees. You can see it's like they almost have this 3D look, which is quite impressive considering it's only 4 colours they're using.
Like I said, I really do like the palette in this game. I think it is, and each of the 4 areas are pretty distinctive as well. I think they're good, and they've got distinctions between them as well. Obviously, the underground caves, and then the sort of tropical island above it, and it's very, very good. Right, so here what we're going to do now is we're going to drop these treasures into the boat, and then we're going to jump in the boat ourselves and pop it using the pin, and that'll send us scooting off to the Crystal Palace here. So this is the final part of the and I wonder who that chap is. Now this bit is actually quite tricky because you're on a timer here, so I'll let Duck explain this section while I'm doing it.
Yeah, so if you've ever seen the Crystal Maze, this might be very familiar.
I'm sure everybody appreciates it.
So Dizzy has 3 minutes to clear the Aztec zone. Otherwise he's going to be locked in.
Indeed. There we go. This is actually quite a tricky section. This is probably the trickiest section of this level. This is very short as well. This is the second shortest level in the second shortest section in the game. We're on the final section here. So, as I say, when I first played this, I played the Amiga version of this, of course, and really, really enjoyed this game. It was, and I've made a huge error here. I forgot to drop the crown. So this is going to be interesting. Because what I'm going to do now is I've got to go all the way back. I'm going to run out of time, aren't I? Right,
you can drop the crown here and then go back.
Yeah, let's just take a death, I think. It'd be easier to take a death. Because I haven't lost any lives up to this point, so I can just drop the crown through here. Because you're supposed to drop the crown there. Because I forgot to drop the crown. If I dropped the crown there, I would have been able to pick up the crystal. You've only got 3 inventory slots, so that was a bit of a mistake. But it's still cool. And I had all those lives. I hadn't lost a life up to this point, which is pretty good. So when I did this run previously, before the glitch, I would lose a lot of lives, mainly on part 3. Because you had that swimming section back and forth all the time, and you would lose a lot of life doing that. And now with the glitch, it's a lot easier. This game has become an awful lot easier to run with the glitch. So, and the glitch behaved itself as well. It didn't soft lock. So I have to say the soft locking does seem to be fairly rare. I mean, I've done it a couple of times, but it's most of the time it behaves itself. So, which is good. Okay, so we're going to get out the Crystal Maze now then. And once we're out the Crystal Maze, come on. I mean, I do... Ooh, that's bad. I do love the sprites in this game, though. I mean, they're very, very well detailed. They look fantastic. Again, they are taken directly from the Amiga, from the Amiga graphics. But right, okay. Drop down here. Plenty of time. There you go. I'm not going to worry about these drips. Now then, we're on to the final section here. Once I get out the crystal maze. There we go. Crystal maze conquered. No lock-in for Dizzy. Gonna give him the crystal. And we get a fabulous parachute. So we're gonna grab the parachute. Leg it this way. You'll notice that this section's now open. And we can now go this way. And we're gonna go along here to a catapult. And this catapult will get us into the next section here. There you go. And we're going to drop these treasures in here. I do have to go back again. One of the staples of sort of Dizzy games and Dizzy speedruns, and you'll see it more so with probably Treasure Island Dizzy, I would say, and maybe the original Dizzy, I don't know what you think, Duck, but is the inventory management is one of the main things.
Yeah, especially with Treasure Island Dizzy, especially yes, because you can't control which items you pick up and which items you drop. Well, you've got much less control over it.
Yeah. Handling your inventory and is definitely one of the key things to these games. Right, okay, so we'll drop the crown in there. We're going to pop in there ourselves, and we get thrown right the way over the wall. You don't get the cool animation that you do in the Amiga version, sadly, but right, okay, so let me get this section right now. This is a bit that caused me a lot of problems for a while here, but I've been getting better at it. Right, okay, so this is the final section of the Ice Palace here. Now we've got three things. We've got to get those 3 treasures, but as you can see, when I threw them in the catapult, they got scattered all over the place. So I landed in one place, and the treasures are all scattered around. So I've got to get all my treasures back before I do anything. So this block of ice here is going to come in very handy in a second. So that's the first thing I'm going to pick up, is the block of ice. I've still got my parachute, which I'll be needing. And these blessed birds again. These birds are an absolute pain, but they're not quite as bad as they are in Section 2. In Section 2, as we saw, they're a bit of a pain on the mast. That's a salt shaker, which is going to be very useful in a minute as well. And we're going to come back up here, bird. There we go. Right, okay, we are getting there. We are getting there. It won't be much longer. We're nearly going to be finished here, so taking a little bit longer than I was hoping, but we've pretty much got there. So this next section here, it's very possible to soft lock. There's a lot of possible soft locks in this game, even playing it casually, isn't there, Duck?
Yeah, the parachute in particular, you can't just leave it in the wrong place. You can leave it somewhere you can only access by parachute, and when that happens, you can't pick it up again because you haven't got a parachute to pick it up. It's
Yep, it's right. Okay, this bit's a wee bit tricky. What you've got to do here is drop your parachute, grab my sword. So that's one of my treasures. Okay, we're going to drop down to here. Try not to smash Dizzy on the ground there. He's looking a little unhealthy, but we'll manage. And we are getting up to this. Now that crown is frozen solid, but that's why we've got Salt Shaker, because the Salt Shaker will do the job, hopefully. Oh, no, got to do it on top of it. There you go. Salt shaker. That'll sort it. Drop the salt shaker. Okay. And we're nearly there. We've just got 2 little bits to do now. We're going to go back down here and get this sorted. I'm just going to get this. Not that I need it. Should need it, but I'm going to get it for safety. And then we're going to go over here. And we're going to drop the ice cube in the water. And that ice cube will, by a process of physics, throw the chalice out. Remind me again which order it is, Duck. I know the crown's in the middle. Is it chalice, crown, sword?
That's a good question. I always forget as well.
Yeah, I think it's sword first. I can't quite remember. I think
Because
it's sword first.
Because the thing is, in the original Spectrum Dizzy, it's the other way around.
Right.
In the original Spectrum version, it's actually the other way. It's the other way around from where it is here.
Yeah.
So I always get confused between the 2 different versions.
Yeah, I think it's sword first. Yeah, it's sword first. Right, so all I have to do here... Time is coming up, by the way. Crown. Sword. Should be it. There we go. That's it. Time. There you go. And that is Crystal Kingdom Busy 2017. Thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Apologies for the technical issues there, but hope everybody had fun with that. Right, I'm going to go away just now, but I will be back very shortly. You'll be sick fed of me by the end of the evening. But I will be back very shortly, and we have our next one coming up, which I believe is Manic Miner. So we'll see you shortly. Cheers.
Hello, I am indeed Ruffled Bricks.
Hello,
and
I am indeed Ruffled Bricks.
joined
and,
on backing vocals. On backing vocals by the only streamer I know who could possibly make me watch Minecraft. It is Tiny Tim 78.
Hello again, folks.
And I am going to be, to the best of my ability, taking you through a run of Matthew Smith's classic 1983 game, Manic Miner. We'll just enjoy a brief snatch of this wonderful EBM version of the Blue Danube, arguably the second greatest version of the music after the Wackarotties version from Animaniacs. And we're going to be starting a run in a 3 and a 2 and a 1 and a go. Oh, and the music is on for some reason, but I've just switched that off because that speeds the game up. So, this is Manic Miner. The basic gist of this is Miner Willie, the character that I'm controlling here on the right. Miner Willie has fallen down a series of caverns and he needs to get out of them whilst collecting treasure and avoiding various manic mining robots and poisonous shrubs. That is pretty much the entire plot of the game. Tim, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I mean this game, as Ruffled Bricks mentioned, this game was released in 1983 by Matthew Smith, who's only 17 years old when he wrote it. And I always like to say about this game is that he must have been on some sort of illicit substances when he produced this game, because say it's a little surreal is it's a bit surreal. The first couple of levels aren't too bad, apart from the ice skating penguins. But after that, it gets a little bit, especially when we reach Eugene's lair, it's going to be quite a trip.
Right, I'm restarting that because I've lost on my way on the cold store there. So I'm going to have another run up at that. We're quite early on in the run, so there's not too much to lose as a result of that. But I was going to have to lose a life in order to get that back into order. So yeah, we're going from the beginning again. So there's quite a lot of pixel perfect strats in this game, at least if you want to get this as optimum as possible. And there was one on the cold store I was trying to do, and the thing was I actually got the position for it that I was after, but my brain didn't believe it. So I just kept on running as if I hadn't got it. So we're going to try that again now. Let's see if we can get that. It doesn't matter if we don't, I just need to recover from it properly if I don't. And okay, fine. So we're good. We're good to carry on now. So this is the cold room, featuring ice skating penguins. Do you want to talk a little bit about the enemies in this game, Tim?
Yes, the way the enemies in this game work, as you can see, pretty much everything in this game kills you. So anything that moves, any enemies that move, kill you. Falling from a certain distance, too far, kills you. Running out of air, you'll see you have an air bar at the bottom of the screen there that's constantly ticking down. That kills you. And there are static enemies like that icicle in the top right-hand corner there that also kill you as well. So pretty much everything in this game kills you. And you only have 3 lives, including, so you start with 2, showing down the bottom left, and the one you have actually on the screen. And once you lose those 3 lives, that's it, game over. The good news is you can earn extra lives for every 10,000 points, and that is something that you should hopefully see while we're working through it here. But yeah, to say this game is challenging is, yeah.
I
an understatement.
I have literally lost all ability to play this since practicing before now. This is apologies, gang. I'm going to try my best to hold this run together, but I seem to have had that rare effective stage fright on this one. So let me just see if I can turn this. Oh no. Okay. All right. One more attempt, and we'll see how we can go.
Yeah, no worries. Just to point out here, while we're restarting here, this is a very, very challenging game. You may think, oh, this game looks easy. Trust me, it really, really isn't. This is a game that I first played when I was about 6 years old, and I never finished it. I never finished this game as a kid, and it's only when I started streaming a couple of years ago that I actually finished this game for the first time. And it very much is a very, very old school style game. Also, when it first came out, it was about $5.99, $4.99, $5.99. So imagine buying this as a kid in the 80s and the amount of play you would get out of this game. I mean, you would get hundreds of hours out of this game and never even complete it if you were like me. So, do you remember when you first completed this game, Ruffled Bricks?
Yeah, it was last year.
About the same as me then.
Yeah, so the thing was, I never played this when I was a kid. I played Jet Set Willy 2 on the Commodore 64 when I was a kid, because my uncle had it. And so that's why I kind of ended up finding out about this game, because when I started streaming, I needed something to speedrun. Now, here's a tough strat.
Yeah.
And we failed it. Oh, my goodness me. This is...
Yeah, don't panic, it happens. I'll just try and describe what happened there. Basically, this game is actually really interesting because it has pretty much pixel-perfect collision. There's lots of pixel-perfect jumps and manoeuvres in this game, and it's actually quite surprising how difficult it is if you're trying to do it fast. Doing the game without speedrunning it isn't too difficult once you've practiced it enough times, but doing it as a speedrun, the Ruffled Bricks will use a lot of very, very precise strats here. Question on that: are you going to do the ultra fast strat on Eugene's lair? Or are you going to?
At this rate, it's. I genuinely can't tell you what I'm going to do for the rest of the run because I'm sort of worried if we're even going to get there. Okay, but we have got a good cycle on the menagerie now, so I think we should be fine. There we are. Yeah, good. So yeah, that's what I was trying to do earlier. There's again loads of pixel perfect strats in these first few levels to try and get certain cycles going. Here's the hardest level in the game. Don't listen to anything that Tim tells you about this. Now, this looks fairly easy because there are these seals on the bottom left there appear to be out of the way, but actually the balls they are spinning on their noses emanate a strong wind that can actually knock you off platforms at any moment. So if I end up falling off in a moment's time, then that's what happened there, not clumsiness, all right? So
Bricks is trying to cover up the fact that unfortunately this was the level where they died. We had a race of this back in January, and Ruffled Bricks unfortunately died in the abandoned radium workings, which was, yeah. Here is my favourite level in the game, one of my favourite levels in the game. The ubiquitous Eugene's Lair and the infinitely cool clapping toilets.
Now, I was going for the speed strat there, but as you can see, I didn't get the right position on the platform, but that's why I did a little trick that you can do with the conveyor belts here, which you can actually hold position on them by just pressing the button away from the direction in which the conveyor belt is going. I just did it there again, you see, to ensure that Eugene was out of the way before I did this jump. And then I'm going to have to do a vertical jump over the, what I like to call the nighttime toilet from Eugene's itinerary there. The other one is his daytime toilet, just in case you're intrigued.
What's the other thing you say about those toilets, Full Bricks?
I don't know, but do you want to explain the mechanic that's going to happen here when we get his last stack of credit cards?
Yeah, once you get this last item here, Eugene will get a bit upset and he'll come descending down, and he can actually block off the exit there. And what you have to do is get in before he blocks it off. But I do like that level. That's and here we have the this is not Pac-Man level. The processing plant. And this is also quite an interesting level because you may think that there's perhaps only one way to do a lot of these levels, and actually almost all, I wouldn't say all, but there are several different ways you can do them, most of the levels, not all of them, but a good chunk of them. And the way I do this level, I do it the other way around from the way Ruffled Bricks is doing it here. The most difficult jump in this level is right at the very end as well.
Yeah, this is what we call an edge jump, whereby you have to do it from the last pixel of the platform, otherwise you don't make it. Like, you don't die if you miss the exit there. It just wastes time.
The multicolour flashing we saw there, that was the indication that we've gone past 10,000 points and thus gained an extra life.
Thank Christ.
The man down the bottom left-hand corner here. This is the vat with the kangaroos here, and this is an interesting level because it is a. This is all collapsing floor at this point, and again, there's quite a few different ways you can tackle this, and I have seen it tackled in quite a few different ways. And on the PC version of the game that I normally play, the actual keys respond differently as well. You can't actually collect them from above; you have to actually collide with them sort of horizontally. This is the Kong Beast level. Again, not a rip-off, honest. And this is quite a tricky level for a casual player. Now, just as a heads up as well for those watching, we do have a beginner's race of this at the end of the marathon, where we have two players who've never played the game before racing through it to see how far they can get. And I've put a lot of my money on this one. Well, I think Doc put their money on this one. What about you, Ruffle Bricks?
Sorry, I was paying attention to the barrels.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So, do you want to explain what the switch does on the top right there?
Yeah, sure. We've got a switch up there that would dunk the Kong Beast in the exit and drop him down, but we don't go for that because it's slow. It gives you lots of extra points, which would theoretically give you extra lives. And when I first started running this game, I used to do that for safety. I don't do it now because it is incredibly slow, and normally you can get through without it. But this is actually a particularly tricky level. Sorry.
I was about to say it's also not that easy to get up to the where the Kong is, I find. But yeah, let's talk about Amoebatrons.
From a speedrun perspective, this is one of the harder levels, definitely, especially if you're doing it fast, like Ruffle Bricks is. I chicken out on this one and go fairly slow, but this is a particularly challenging level.
Well, I was just trying to do a new strat that we had there. So there's a not a speedrunner, but a programmer called Muska who actually spent some time programming an algorithm to find the fastest strats in both Manic Miner and the Jet Set Willy, the sequel to this game. And I was trying to go for a strat that he actually found using that algorithm there, where you actually jump over that rolling bookend that I call it, and that gives you a bit of a head start, but I didn't quite get the jump after that. But we got through it, and here are the not Ewoks.
Yeah, you don't want to get killed by an Ewok. Incredibly embarrassing.
Yeah,
Being killed by an Ewok.
they do bear a striking resemblance to Willy from the neck down, I find. So I wonder if they're just basically other miners who've got their helmets stuck on the wrong way.
Yeah. I like the way that you do this last item collection here. It's a bit different from the way that I do it.
Yeah, it's slightly clutch. You can land on the is it teal, the colour of that top Ewok there if you're not careful. So you have to sort of do the right amount of what I call pixel burn in the level to ensure that you kind of like don't go too fast around it to do that. Now here's another fun level.
Yeah, one of my favourite levels in the game. This was the level as a kid that I pretty much could never get past. I mean, I would get past it on the odd occasion, but on the whole, I never really got past this level. Attack the Mutant Telephone's one of my favourites, and it does have the 10p pieces there that you collect. And I do like this level. This is a perfect Matthew Smith level. It's just this and Eugene's Lair are probably two of my favourite levels, just from a design perspective.
And bear in mind that this is, the whole point of this game is Willy collecting treasure from these caverns, and so Willy actually gets a whopping 50p from this room, which is enough for him to call his mother. Now,
this is a particularly hard level.
Yeah, this one's all right actually. It's Kong Beast is back with mostly the same attack pattern as before. Just letting his barrels roll around and hoping for the best. Now, yeah, the left-hand side isn't too hard, I find. The right-hand side can be a bit trickier because there's some pixel-specific jumps I'm going to do. There's a 4-part jump coming up here, which I've slightly messed up the beginning of, but there we are. No, we got it. I say 4-part. It's actually technically 6 parts if you look at it, but it's the only 4 parts. And we're going to dunk the Kong Beast, actually, because I'm sick of that guy and his ways.
Yeah,
so,
extra life there. There we go.
And also that switch is very near, so you might you lose 1 frame. So if you're being a speedrun perfectionist, then don't dunk him. But really, you don't lose anywhere near as much time doing that as you would in the other level. Or refinery.
Yep. Not a particularly challenging level here. It's one of the levels that I find very interesting when I play the game because it is considerably different between the 2 different versions that I normally play. It's the PC version. There's a couple of levels. Next couple of levels are the same. But I like this. I like this level. It's a relatively breather level. This one.
This route was definitely kind of a big revelation when I found this because it just makes it so much smoother to go around. You don't have to worry about the enemy cycle so much. Speaking of cycles.
Here we go.
Skylab.
Yeah, this was the other level that finished me off as a kid. This was almost certainly the furthest I normally ever got. It's a very tricky level. This. The one thing to point out though, and somebody pointed this out the other day, and I didn't actually realise this, Ruffle Bricks, but the coloured Skylabs always crash onto the same level of platform.
Yes.
If you look at the level of platform, the same colour always crashes on the same level of platform, and I didn't realise that.
Yep.
Until somebody pointed it out the other day in the Discord.
We almost got the quick Skylab there, by the way. I slightly messed it up towards the end, but the first sort of first 2/3 of that was entirely optimum, and there's a lot of near misses in that one. Now here's the bank. This is a nice little respite from the difficulty of the second half of the run. Slightly misplaced, some might say, and I would agree in terms of difficulty. It's much easier, but it's nice to have it, I think, after Skylab. And that enemy down the bottom, by the way, that is a bouncing check.
Yeah. Matthew Smith apparently had lots of experience of it.
Yes. Now here's the 16th cavern, so called because it's a cavern.
And he was running out of names by this point.
Yeah, I missed the optimum cycle on this, but that is quite a scary strat. I don't know if you've seen it before, Tim, but you just hold 8 jumps at this point, and then you have to do like a more or less frame perfect jump over that blue rat on the right there. And that the items here, we have to get the one to the top left first, because if you actually fall down and grab that item below the exit, you will not be able to get back out, and that will be a 2-minute time loss while you wait for the time of the air to run out on the level to reset it. Now here's a horror.
Extra life.
This
is a
very
really
tough
nasty
level. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you. Yeah, this is the warehouse. This is one of the hardest levels in the game, I would say. It's very easy to get this wrong.
Actually, I'm taking a death.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep talking.
Yeah. Okay. Let you. Yeah. It's just as I say. I know that this bit here is really tricky. And the thing with this level is, once you mess it up, that's it. Really, you've got no option but to take a death on it, and retry it. And it's very easy to lose multiple lives here, but it looks like Bricks has got through here without too much bother now.
Hang on, we got the last bit to worry about. And yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I know that this level was one that gave me, and the previous level were 2 that gave me. I always call the last 4 levels, apart from level 20, the gauntlet, because 16, 17, 18, 19 are 4 of the hardest levels in the game, in my opinion, put together, basically.
Yeah, it's a pretty horrific gauntlet from there on in. And this one, Amoebatron's Revenge, has some tough stuff to get through on it. We have a nice little 5-part jump coming up that gives us a quick cycle throughout the level, but then there is a much harder strat coming up in the top left. So I'll let Tim talk over that one once we get near there, which I'd say now would be a good time.
Yep, okay. So this is coming up for this here. That's nice. You need to be in the exact position for that. And this is the tricky bit coming up here.
Nice! There we are, we got it. That's what I like to call the kitchen jump. And if you want to know why that's the kitchen jump, tune in tomorrow at 6 PM and you'll have an explanation as to why we call that the kitchen jump.
Yeah, that was really, really solid. So this is probably, in most people's opinion, probably in mine as well, the hardest level in the game. And another level that Ruffle Bricks does different the way I do it. But this is the solar power generator. It's got its own mechanic here. You've got this yellow laser beam, and that drains your air. So if it impacts with Willy at any stage, it will start reducing his air supply. And as a result, even doing this level sort of the best way you can, you will normally come very perilously close to running out of air on this level. It is the most difficult level in the game. It's the one that gave me the most difficulty. And as I say, it's right at the end.
I'd say it's the most difficult level casually. Like, I think some of the speedrun strats in this can be like maybe slightly harder than this one, but like, and just in terms of being able to actually do the level, then yes, I would concur that it is by far and away the gatekeeper of the game.
It's when I was doing this, as I said, this was probably this and Warehouse probably counted for the most deaths. The final level's an interesting one. We'll get to it in a minute.
Well, I'm a cycle behind here, so we're going to see if we do actually make it to the... oh dear, that's not looking good. Oh, getting loads of solar beam here, and
we should be alright. Yeah, got it. Well done.
I believe that's known in the trade as a digital duck.
Yes. I've seen Digital Duck manage that.
Yeah.
Very, very, with like 1 pixel of air left, I think.
He's my inspiration for that move.
This level's the final barrier. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it's actually deceptively. It looks easy, and it kind of is, but there's a couple of things. That trolley in the bottom is actually quite tricky, and you've got to time the conveyor belt to avoid crashing into the big eyeball there. I have died on this screen more than a few times, and it's very frustrating when you reach the end and then die on this screen.
And time is coming up when we actually hit the Omega symbol, the exit, just above the what do you call it, conveyor belt. And time.
There we go. GG.
We're rewarded with a swordfish for our efforts and a new life in a house above the surface. Dare I ask what the time on that was? Because we had 2 resets on that, which is very unprofessional. I apologise, but the rest of it I think was all right.
What I can see on stream, it looks as 1901.
Oof, well, hey, that's underestimate. So,
Congratulations.
yes, thank you for bearing with me on that one. Just my fingers just went a bit weird for the first couple of attempts there, but yeah, I think overall that was Manic Miner. Tim, any thoughts?
Yeah, I must say a big thank you for running that. That is, as I said, that's my first ever game that I played on the Spectrum. It's a very nostalgic title for a lot of people. Deserves its well-known reputation. And yeah, Ruffled Bricks, by the way, is I believe, the world record holder for this run. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed.
Yes, but that has been contested by people who own real hardware. So we'll see how I come after the trial. I probably shouldn't do in-jokes in the middle of a marathon.
Okay, I think that's us done for now. We will move on to the next one. We're going to be back very shortly. Next run is going to be Angel Intercept. We're going to be running Garfield. Big, fat, hairy deal.
Thank you. See you in a moment. little bit of trouble getting out of these sewers here, but we just about managed it here. Now, Garfield has 2 health bars to discuss there. One of them is a hunger bar, the top one, and the other one is a tiredness bar. Now, the hunger bar, as you can see, is going up and up and up, and that is why Angel has just left this key here, because when Garfield gets to full hunger, he will automatically eat whichever item he's carrying at that moment. Fortunately, she's put it down and she's got a burger now. That's an actual bit of food, but he will also eat key items, and that can result in you not being able to complete the game. So that's why she's put that there so she can pick up later. Grabbing a pie as well, just so you've got a little bit of extra sustenance for later on. And now Garfield is bouncing. You notice Garfield jumps most of the way. You don't have to do that, but like many games, Garfield moves fast. Spade in for a bit of money there, and he's using the money to actually buy some seed from this health food shop. Get lost, Odie. And
I think it needs to point out that touching Odie does raise your sleep bar very quickly.
So the sleep bar is the one you really need to worry about. If Garfield gets a full sleep bar, then he goes to sleep, and that's basically game over. Now, leaving the seed there, that summons the bird, jumping up to the bird to transport across the level with the key so that you can use the key to get into the cat pound.
And that's it, first time, and that is time. There we go.
Boom. Game over. Now, lovely work. GG's all round.
That was it. All of that.
Didn't even have to reset on the chest.
I'm genuinely amazed I did that first time.
Excellent work.
Genuinely amazed that we did that first time. There we go. I know. There you go. That's the whole of Garfield Big Fat Hairy Deal. In how long was that?
That is.
I didn't time. How quick was that?
3 minutes 02.
3:02. So I almost broke the 3-minute barrier without using the Odie manipulation. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, excellent run, Angel. Lovely stuff.
I am quite happy with that. Thank you very much, there. I couldn't have done that had I been commentating. So thank you so much for.
No worries. Thank you for trusting me to learn a speed run like this in 2 days.
No, most enjoyable, and hopefully that pulls time back on everything as well. So, look at me go.
Cool. Right. I think that's it for that run. What's up next, Mike? Does it Mike? So I can't see the name on Discord. Oh dear. Sorry. It is Mike. It is Mike.
So, sorry, there's not really a good
okay.
way to help in this thing. But next up,
okay.
something else. Sorry.
All right. Well, we've got oh dearie me. We've got another run coming up in a bit, so stick around again.
Certainly.